Now we will start with our third panel, earning the role of a trusted advisor, client needs, client delight, client perception, and the characteristics of an advisor. For this panel, I would like to invite Mr. A.S. Narayan, Chief Distribution Officer, Bajaj Allianz Insurance. Mr. Devashish Mohanty, Country Head, Retail Sales, UTI Asset Management Company Limited. Mr. Deepak Singh, National Sales Head, Angel Broking. Mr. Pankaj Matpal, MD CEO, Optima Money Managers. Mr. Rajesh Krishnamurthy, Managing Director, iFast.
Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you all have had a nice lunch. The session after the lunch is always said to be the toughest one. So we'll try and keep your interest in the session as much as possible. And towards the end, we'll have a Q&A session. So till then, we'll have a panel discussion and then we open it for Q&A. What I'll do is, this is a very interesting topic about earning the role of a trusted advisor. And there's a lot that's happening on advisory, to the extent that even there is regulation being discussed of creating a super regulator of various regulators in the financial markets. Because everybody is looking at the fact that somebody is advising for mutual funds, maybe somebody is advising for insurance, maybe somebody is providing some advice on banking, maybe somebody is advising on loan, but consolidated advice is what the customer really requires, and therefore probably a consolidated regulator. It is there in certain countries like the UK. So that's an interesting point, which maybe the panelists could consider. Of course, the client requirements, what is it? And interestingly, client delight. So there is a differentiation between what a client may need and what a client will be delighted with. So that's the aspect that we will look into. Perception that clients have about advisors and what are the characteristics of advisors, basically good advisors. What we will do is we'll have a 5-minute speech from each of the panelists, and then we'll have a more interactive session from whatever comes out in that 5 minutes, which I think would be quite interesting. So I'll start with my right, and we have Deepak Singh on my right. Deepak, your views.
Thank you, Narayanan. Good afternoon. I'll start with the perception side of the investor. See, perception of an investor is investor feels that advisory is a business. So if it is a business, the advisor is looking money out of it. So whatever he is advising is largely in his own interest, not my interest. So that perception is always in his mind. The mass affluent segment or the HNI segment both feels that advisor is advising me for his own benefit. Now, how an advisor can gain a trust? As Narayan said, that customer delight. There are small things. See, a customer who is investing a lakh of rupees, an advisor is not giving much ears to that person because he feels that what I will make out of it. A mutual fund will give me a 0.5 or a 0.75%. But if the organization is such whereby a data is maintained properly and a customer gets a call on his anniversary, on his wife's birthday, that delight factor will come. And it is not just advising on the financial instrument, it is actually owning that customer as a whole.
That was pretty quick. You had 5 minutes, but I think you've taken a couple of minutes only. So I'll now go to my left and go to Pankaj. Pankaj, of course, is with Optima and is a very, very reputed financial advisor in himself. So we have heard one of the market participants who's also into financial advising. And here we also look at somebody who's into core financial advisory and probably does not manufacture any products as far as I know. So Pankaj, your views on this? And you can take 7 minutes because he's given you longer time.
Thank you, Narayan. I will just share my experience. Few days back, a small group of few financial planners, they came to me and said, we are facing some problems in the advisory business. And so I asked, what is the problem? They said, there are two things in practice. One is that customers, they do not share their data with us. Second thing, when we write financial plan, many times it happens that they don't implement it. Now, I asked them that why it happens. They said, whatever information they share with us, we try to collect all the information relevant to financial planning. We analyze data, we write financial plan, give the expert advice. We have knowledge. So I said, why should they trust you? They said, we are experts, so whom to trust then? Why should they not trust us when we have knowledge and we have more knowledge than them? Now, this is the thing which is important here. One is being expert and one is trusted advisor. People like to do business when they trust you. Here, for being a successful advisor or successful financial planner, both the things are equally important, that you have to have good knowledge and you should be trustworthy, or your client should trust you. Here, usually what happens as a financial planner, as an advisor, we try to gain knowledge, collect more and more information, and we always try to prove in front of client that we know more than you, so that you should listen to us. Now, put yourself in client's shoes, think from that angle, what exactly he wants. If you build that trust, and the trust can be built with the relationship. Once you spend time with them, you understand what he wants, not what you want to give him. See, client has problem, and by giving so many solutions, so many products, or maybe your solution, what you're providing is correct, but unless he understands that, maybe that you are again adding to that problem. So once you understand that what are the issues and concern which keeps him awake in the night, if you provide some solution to that, then only your customer will trust you. So, see, I'll give one example additional. Few years ago, I asked one development officer of LIC. I said, why don't you people send these policies by courier or registered post? They said, we have started doing it now, but still our agents, they like to take the policy with their hand. They want to deliver it on their own. I said, why? They said, because the agent gets opportunity to meet customer once more. So means once you spend time with your customer, chances are there you will have better relationship. Once you have better relationship, then your customer will trust you more. Here what happens, because of technology, most of the times your data comes through mail. You analyze the data and draft a financial plan and try to execute it. Now, everything is correct. Whatever information has been provided by the customer, based on that, with your good skills, you have written that financial plan. But problem is that trust has not been created. So what I mean to say here, that along with your knowledge, creating trust, developing trust is very important. So being a trusted advisor is very important. If you feel that your customer should listen to you, he should share data with you, and the plan which has been written should be implemented. So put yourself in customer's shoes and then think from that point of view.
Thank you very much, Pankaj. You have shared a very interesting aspects, like expertise and trust are two different facets, and both necessarily do not go hand in hand. So one could have expertise but may not win the trust. That's a very interesting way of looking at it. You also said that we really need to spend time. An advisor needs to spend time to win this trust, and not only should he propose the right solution, but the customer should also be sure that he understands the solution that's been proposed. Very interesting. We'll probably dwell into this a little bit more in detail later. I'll now go again to my right and go on to Mr. Debashish Mohanty. Mr. Debashish Mohanty is the country head of the UTI Asset Management Company, which is one of the largest asset managers in the country, and it'll be interesting to hear what his views are on this topic.